Hello everyone. Today we are going to go through uh, the second class, that is demographic tables and patient characteristics. And here the outline for today's class. The first part will review the concepts that we learned from last class, and then we go to talk about the concepts that are important for programming our demographic table. And then we'll go through the SAS steps and skills that are useful for programming our table. And finally, we'll get to our homework and plan what we do next. Now first, review of the concepts. You can go over the following few slides to see whether you can answer these questions. And these questions are designed to just help you to remember the basic concepts we learned from last class, like what is the protocol, or what is SAP, what is clinical trial, and how many phases. And the key point is you can find this information, the information that you asked to provide from this quiz, from the concept that you learned. So we're not going through each quiz, but you're welcome to take each of them, write down, and make your answers. Now, the second unit we want to do for this class is to talk about the concepts. The concepts for making demographic tables. Now, for every clinical trial, we need to make the demographic table. What are the purposes of making these tables? Why the demographic tables are so important for any clinical trial, for any FDA submission, and for any SAS programmers? Well, if you remember what the clinical trial is from last class, we talked about the clinical trial are consistent of a few group of people first. And one of the most important population is subject and all the patients. So to understand what kind of population you have for your clinical trial, the first and foremost is to provide enough information for these subjects. And this table are just to summarize all the basic information for the clinical trial. So the subject ID, for example, is to identify the patient population in the study by summarizing the subject ID, and this will allow you for replication of analysis in future studies if you can use similar patient populations. And another thing that is very important for the study is not just providing a whole picture of the population you are using, but also for the baseline characteristics. For example, if you are studying the blood pressure and you are studying the drug that claim to reduce the blood pressure, and then the baseline characteristic that what happened at the very beginning are very critical. And also, for the analysis purpose, sometimes you're required, or you are required to do subgroup analysis. And these all subgroup analysis are based on the patient baseline characteristics, as well as the population the population information. So all these important points related to the clinical trial itself. Uh, on the other hand, as a sales programmer, the demographic information is very important because the any almost any demographic table you are dealing with two types of variables. One is continuous, and another is categorical. And like for the categorical, we have sex, we have race, and for the continuous, we have height, we have weight, and we have age. So by doing one table, you are actually learning all the skills that cover all types of data as SAS understand it. By the way, you understand the other languages have more than two data types. Only the SAS has been dealing with the data by grouping them into either type equals 1 or type equals 2. And type 1, of course, it means continuous variables, and type 2 is categorical variables. Now, so these are very important for understanding the importance of demographic table. And what else? What other concepts we need to understand? Well, the the major concepts for making this table we can learn from the table shell, and we can also learn from the SAP and as well as from the CRF. So by looking at the table shell, we know that this table is for ITT. What does it mean by ITT? And what does it mean by baseline? And how can we derive the baseline? So think about these questions and take a break, and we will talk about these basic concepts.